From turn-of-the-century billiards halls, serving up burgers to die for with a side of extra paranormal activity, to modern palaces where restless spirits resulting from gruesome murders still roam. Are you ready for some of the most haunted casinos in the United States? Number 5. The Buffalo Bodega Complex. The Buffalo Bodega Complex, located off Main Street in Deadwood, South Dakota, is a full-service casino complex merging 6 historic buildings, including the state's oldest bar, and that houses one of the world's largest slot machines. Historically, the business was first founded in 1877 by one Mike Russell for good friend and hunting partner Buffalo Bill Cody as the Buffalo Bar. In 1880, the structure now holding the bodega was constructed next door as offices for the Northwest Express, Stage and Transport Company, and in 1893 these offices were purchased by W.H. Carter, who would establish the Bodega Saloon, the upper floor of which, over the years, would serve a number of purposes, including acting as a brothel. In 1943, this brothel would be closed down, and over the years, the saloons were merged into the Buffalo Bodega Complex. The complex remains open into the present, offering peerless dining and drink options, a range of games, live entertainment every Friday and Saturday night, and, as staff and guests have told, its fair share of ghostly activity, with many reporting disembodied voices and footsteps, doors that open and close on their own, and the feeling of being watched, followed, touched, or even groped by invisible hands. Several informal investigations have yielded orbs and strange silhouettes in photographs, near constant electronic malfunctions, high EMF levels, and eerie EVPs. And on numerous occasions, employees have arrived for shift change to find furniture moved or personal items missing entirely, usually only to turn up later in odd places. Lastly, and reported across the whole of the complex, are encounters with full-bodied female entities in old-fashioned attire that many suspect are the spirits of former working girls from the saloon's earlier days. Number 4. Lutes Casino. Lutes Casino, located off South Main Street in Yuma, Arizona, is an American restaurant and billiard parlor recognized for being the oldest continually operating pool hall in the state, as well as for its savory and unique secret sauce recipe. Historically, the building was first constructed in 1901, with its bottom floor acting as a store for dried goods, and its top as the Central Hotel. In 1920, the property was purchased by W.E. Pop McCaw, who would transform it into a pool hall called the Casino Billiard Parlor. In 1947, as payment for an overdue debt, ownership would fall into the hands of one Robert H. Lutes, who would alter the business name to Lutes Casino, while serving his now famous hamburgers to guests. And circa 1960, Robert's son, Bobby, would assume ownership and would begin the tradition of adding trinkets, photos, posters, and pieces of the memorabilia that can be viewed across the walls to this very day. In the present, the old casino is ran by Nancy Lutes, third generation of Lutes to step up to the plate, and offers dominoes, billiards, an assortment of scrumptious menu options, and, if stories hold true, a wide range of hauntings, with staff and guests reporting disembodied voices, footsteps heard from empty spaces, and instances in which objects are sighted moving on their own. The old Central Hotel, right above Lutes, and the old Lyric Theater, adjacent to it, are rumored to be haunted by the spirits of an elderly man and a younger boy. Many nearing the property have described feeling as if they're being closely watched by a presence unseen. A handful have encountered shadowy figures and apparitions in old-fashioned clothing, and several have even told of an unnerving phenomenon in which they're suddenly unable to breathe. Lastly, and possibly most disturbing, are reports of a ghostly little girl who is either heard laughing or crying, whose voice has been captured in a multitude of recordings, and who's been linked to several violent paranormal attacks. Number 3. The Commercial Casino. The Commercial Casino, located off 4th Street in Elko, Nevada, is a historic casino boasting the title of being one of the oldest licensed casinos in the whole of the state that's recognized for its unique polar bear theme, complete with the world's largest stuffed polar bear. Historically, and boasting the title of being one of Elko's first hotels, the Humboldt Lodging House would open on site in 1869. In 1893, it would change hands and its title to the Commercial Hotel, and in 1925, the operation was purchased by father and son Newton H. Crumley Sr. and Jr. When gambling was legalized in Nevada in 1941, the Commercial Hotel was reopened as the Commercial Casino instead. In 1958, it would purchase the renowned White King, the 10-foot 4-inch tall stuffed polar bear that remains in place in the lobby to this day. And on March 18th of 2020, the casino would close its doors indefinitely, though with every intention of reopening in 2021. The Commercial boasts 140 slot machines, a range of food and drink options, and, as tale tells it, an assortment of resident hauntings, with both staff and guests reporting doors that haven't been unlocked in years cited opening and closing on their own, objects moving by themselves, drinks spilling with no apparent cause, and the sensations and feelings of being followed, watched, or of having one's neck breathed down by a presence unseen. Chillingly, through the 1800s, the building would play scene to a double homicide, when one handsome Harry, along with his mistress, an infamous Elko working gal, were shot to death by her husband, and to date, his full-bodied apparition has been spied roaming about, some say searching for his lost love. Lastly, and reported across the whole of the property, are disembodied voices and screaming from empty rooms, the phantom sounds of gunfire in the hallway, unearthly noises from upper floors, disembodied footsteps, orbs and strange silhouettes in photography, and encounters with a range of shadow figures and full-bodied apparitions. Number 2, the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City. The Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City, located off the boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey, is a famous casino and lodging that's structure formerly acted as the Trump Taj Mahal, and that's property's history is steeped in association to various criminal endeavors, including to money laundering, connections with organized crime, and even to cold-blooded murder. Historically, construction of the building was started in 1983 by Resorts International. In 1987, former U.S. President Donald J. Trump would outbid rival interests for controlling stakes in the company, and the hotel would finally open to guests in 1990 as the Trump Taj Mahal, which for a time boasted the title of being the largest and most lavish casino in the world. In 2014, the Taj's parent company would file for bankruptcy. In 2016, it would close its doors and auction off its belongings. In 2017, Hard Rock International would purchase the property and would transform it to fit the brand. And in 2018, the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City would reopen to the masses. The Hard Rock remains in operation to this day, offering luxurious accommodations, world-class entertainment, games, and, according to a slew of reports and urban legends, a range of supernatural infestations. Activity on site is rumored to be a result of the souls of a number of staff members and guests who loved the casino and life, as well as of restless spirits associated with a handful of fatal shootings. And both staff and guests have reported frequent electronic malfunctions, orbs and strange mists in photography, abnormal battery death rates, and strange lights like those of lanterns spied floating about after dark. The entity of a man has been encountered wandering the halls of the 10th floor around midnight nearly every night, with some fables claiming he's the ghost of a guest who took his own life by way of jumping from one of that level's rooms. Personal possessions have been known to vanish for periods and reappear later in strange places, and a number of reports detail encounters with shadowy entities and full-bodied apparitions in clothing from the 80s. Also reported at the Hard Rock are phantom gunshots, disembodied screaming and crying, footsteps heard from empty halls, and strange scratching or knocking sounds from within the walls. Lastly, one more popular story tells of Berta Schwartzberg, who was killed when she was trampled by youths after winning an absurdly large jackpot. Berta's spirit has been encountered walking the casino floor, chain-smoking cigarettes while searching for her missing winnings. Number 1. The Greenebrier. The Greenebrier, located off West Main Street in the Allegheny Mountains near White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, is a historic luxury resort offering a ridiculous multitude of activities that includes a world-renowned mineral spa, and that's also recognized for its hosting of no less than 26 presidents. Historically, a sulfur water spring was first discovered in the area in 1778, with the property acquired later by the Caldwell family, who would begin developing it as a resort, and who, in 1858, would construct a massive lodging they'd call the Grand Central Hotel, which was open through summer months. Through the Civil War, resort grounds would change hands between Union and Confederate forces several times, and would nearly burn to the ground. In 1910, the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway would purchase the property, would perform numerous improvements, and would construct what now acts as the central wing. And in 1913, the resort would shed its summer schedule in favor of staying open year-round, and would re-officialize itself as the Greenebrier. Through World War II, the Greenebrier would serve to house Axis diplomats who'd been interred as enemies of the United States, and later from 1943 until 1946, it would serve as a military hospital. In 2009, the property was purchased by the Justice family, who continues to manage operations into the present. Today, the Greenebrier is considered one of the most luxurious resorts, not just in the US, but in the world, and offers rooms, cottages, and even full housing, alongside 5-star dining and drink options, golf, tennis, casino games, and, according to local legend, a ridiculously chilling jumble of paranormal activity. Over its lengthy existence, the Greenebrier's halls have been graced by celebrities, professional sports teams, politicians, and other individuals of extreme social importance. And shockingly, even the skeptics seem to leave with their very own tales of terror. The property is suspected to be haunted by the souls of former staff and guests who loved the resort so much in life that their spirits sought it out after death, and both employees and visitors have reported otherworldly noises across its outside grounds. Disembodied voices from dark rooms, phantom crying and screaming always heard at a distance, and eerie vocals captured in the backgrounds of phone calls and recordings. Chillingly, several have been awakened in the middle of the night to knocking and tapping sounds that seemingly emanate from the walls. Some say as if something is trying to get out, while others have described the unsettling feeling that someone is standing in their room or at the foot of their bed, just beyond the darkness. Also reported across Greenebrier's grounds are doors and windows that open and close on their own, light switches that spontaneously flip to off, leaving all present in total darkness, and instances of televisions and guest rooms turning on and off on their own, or even flicking rapidly through channels and utilizing single words from each in order to piece together threatening messages. Several informal investigations of the resort have yielded exceedingly high EMF levels, while outside and nowhere near any electronics, extreme temperature fluctuations, crystal clear EVPs, and laser grid activity, and both staff and guests have described the constant feeling of being watched, followed, or even touched by invisible hands. Lastly, and across the whole of the property, various objects have been sighted floating in midair for moments before dropping suddenly. Furniture is commonly found rearranged in impossible time frames. Strange rummaging noises are frequently heard from vacant rooms, and a handful of encounters detail full-bodied apparitions in either German or Japanese garb from World War II. Taking its fascinating history into account and coupling it with a formidable range of purported supernatural infestations, local legends, and the like, we felt the Greenebrier was the best choice as the most haunted casino in the United States. Thanks for tuning in for our list of some of the most haunted casinos in the US. If you enjoyed hearing our histories and ghost stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn notifications on. Throw us a like, and most importantly, share us with anyone you feel deserves a good scare. Good night.